Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into an incredibly fascinating piece of writing by Jimmy Perez. He takes a really well-known historical text, chapter 3 of the Gospel of Mark, and, well, he completely flips the script on it. Instead of just reading it as some ancient historical account, Perez invites us to use it as a mirror, one that reflects our own deepest psychological state. It's a deep dive into the battle for the undivided heart, and it's definitely going to challenge how we look at our own inner lives. Let's get into it. Perez starts off strong by instantly shifting our focus away from the external events of the story and pointing it right at our own internal motives. He argues that this ancient text is actually a lot less about what people did to a historical figure and way more about what is happening inside each and every one of us right now. It boils down to this: are we just looking for a quick fix, or are we genuinely looking for a relationship with the truth? Section 1. A turning point: healing and transformation. So, starting with the physical event, or the outer story, it involves Jesus healing a man's withered hand on the Sabbath, right while religious leaders are watching him like hawks, basically just waiting to accuse him. It's a highly controversial healing because it happened on a day governed by strict religious rules. That is the historical setup, the outer shell of the story, so to speak. But when we shift our perspective inward, a really powerful lesson emerges. While the outer story looks like a battle of love versus legalism, the inner lesson is a direct challenge to us. Perez suggests that the withered hand actually represents the parts of our own lives that have been made lifeless, withered away by fear, shame, bitterness, or neglect. It forces a pretty tough choice. Do we hide behind rigid rules, or do we step into the light to find true wholeness? And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer courage it took for that man to step forward. Think about it. He had to stretch out his hand before the visible healing even took place. God often asks us to act before we actually feel transformed. Healing begins the very moment we stop hiding our broken parts, even when, and honestly, probably especially when, we don't feel quite ready yet. Take a moment and really reflect on this question Perez poses. It's a challenging one. He's pushing us to audit our own lives and choose courage over hiding our vulnerabilities. What have you tucked away in the shadows simply out of pride or fear? Moving on to Section 2, the crowds. Relief versus change. Historically speaking, the outer story tells us that massive multitudes were flocking to Jesus for physical relief. They were desperate for miracles. The text even notes that dark forces, demons, acknowledged exactly who he was. So picture a scene of absolute chaos and just intense, overwhelming demand. Here, Perez draws a really stark contrast. It's the profound difference between crowds chasing a quick fix for their immediate problems and true disciples seeking fundamental transformation. It's kind of like wanting a painkiller for a broken arm when what you literally need is the hard, painful work of resetting the bone. It's entirely possible to chase the benefits of something while completely avoiding the messy work of interchange. Which leads to a pretty fascinating realization. Recognition alone is not surrender. Perez points out that even the demons had the right information, right? They recognized exactly who was standing in front of them. But just having the correct data didn't change their nature one bit. Information without transformation truly changes nothing. It's a powerful moment to pause and audit our own motives here. Are we pursuing a deeper path because we genuinely want our lives to fundamentally change? Or are we just treating it like some sort of cosmic vending machine for problem solving? Section 3. Being before doing. Choosing the 12. Now, the outer story here is pretty straightforward, but absolutely vital. Jesus appoints 12 apostles to be with him before sending them out to do the actual work. Notice the specific sequence. They are chosen first to accompany him. The dispatching, the doing, comes later. And this comparison is just incredibly relevant today. Our modern cultural focus constantly demands endless doing, productivity, the daily hustle. But the inner lesson here flips that and prioritizes being. Building the relationship and the foundation has to come first, long before taking on the responsibility of action. I absolutely love how this distills the concept so cleanly. You literally cannot pour from an empty cup. You have to build your inner life before you can effectively go out and change the outer world. If you rush headfirst into doing without first being, you are for sure eventually going to burn out and run totally dry.
This challenges us directly to take a hard look at our daily lives. Ask yourself, are your actions and your output outpacing your spiritual and emotional foundation? It's a brilliant way to audit where your energy is actually going. Section 4. The Undivided Heart. A Kingdom Divided. In the Otter story, religious leaders accuse Jesus of using Satan's power to cast out demons. He replies with that famous logic that a divided kingdom cannot stand. On the surface, yeah, it's a sharp, logical defense against his critics. But Perez takes this and applies it psychologically to the invisible wars we fight in our own everyday lives. Seeing these competing voices stacked against each other really highlights how internal division constantly drains our strength. I mean, every single person has these battles: ego fighting spirit, fear fighting love, pride wrestling with humility, self-protection going head-to-head with self-sacrifice. When a human mind is divided like this, it is just completely exhausting. So ask yourself, where am I divided within myself? According to Perez, healing only begins when every part of our life aligns with truth, making this kind of self-audit absolutely essential. We have to spot the division before we can mend it. Section 5. The Mirror of Mark 3. Redefining Family. Perez suggests that our deepest identity isn't about shared biology or the past, but who we are becoming through shared purpose. And this brings all these difficult, life-changing questions into focus at once. We have to ask ourselves, what has become spiritually withered? Are we chasing miracles or true transformation? Are we prioritizing being before doing? We need to uncover what internal divisions weaken us and ultimately decide if our identity is chained to the past or anchored firmly in purpose. Ultimately, the most crucial takeaway of this entire explainer is this: the greatest battle is not against disease or demons. It's against hardened hearts that are resisting transformation. A withered hand can be healed, and crowds will always gather. But the absolute greatest danger is an internal heart so stubbornly committed to its own way that it actively rejects growth and truth. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this final provocative invitation from Jimmy Perez. Will you let every divided part of your heart become united? It's a profound call to seek alignment, to face your hidden withered parts, and to step out of the shadows. Thanks for exploring this incredible analysis with me today. I hope it leaves you eager to examine your own undivided heart.